on your cards.
Oh, Matthew brought
I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. January 7th, 2013, 5 p.m. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
It's nice to see all of you back and well. Did you all have a great holiday? We're so glad. I think that staff's had a great holiday, too. Especially we were in and out, so I'm sure they appreciated the peace and the quiet. But we're back, staff, so get ready. We're full force this year. We're all really excited. This is going to be a great year. There's just so much out there that's going to come Goodyear's way, and we're all going to benefit from it. So we're all excited. So we're all around the table tonight. So the first item on the agenda is to receive an update and provide input on comments received at the Gain Community Festival, the Visioning Workshop held on Saturday, November 3rd, and the General Plan Committee first two meetings. Katie Wilkin, planner, to present.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We just finished the first stage of the general plan update, the visioning portion. So we thought this was a good time to come to Council, let you know what we've done so far, and give you an opportunity to provide any comments you might have on the process so far. So as you kind of mentioned, our first event was we had a booth at the Gain Community Festival held in October, and we heard that there was an estimated 4,000 people in attendance. We received 134 comment cards with 155 ideas on them at that booth. And just some pictures. This is our booth. You can see in the back we had this big board where people could write ideas on cards and stick them up there. I know several of you were able to stop by and see the booth. We had information not just about the general plan, but also the transportation master plan and the parks master plan, so people could learn that these plans are going on and just give us their ideas. So you can see people writing out on the cards, and this is kind of what it looked like at the end of the night. The second activity we had was we had a visioning workshop on a Saturday. It was a beautiful Saturday, but 42 residents still came and spent almost their whole day at this workshop, and throughout the workshop we created 7 vision statements and we collected an additional 180 ideas, and we also had a little survey for those folks who had to leave early and got a lot more ideas from that. That was held at Desert Edge High School. The mayor gave us a welcome, and our chair, Chuck Watson, also welcomed everyone. We had 3 speakers, Arnhem Week from the ASU School of Sustainability. Then we had oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. From Elliott Pollock. Rick Merritt from Elliott Pollock, I'm sorry, who talked to us about the economy, and then Jody Ulick from the Dallas-Fort Worth Arts Council talked to us about art and culture. Over lunch, our 3 experts answered questions that the residents had, and then the residents broke into groups, and we just had them writing their ideas. You know, what do they see for the future of Goodyear to make us a great city? And they just wrote down those ideas. Then they presented their ideas to the entire group. Then the group went back and actually wrote vision statements. So each table, so we had 7 tables, wrote a vision statement. And they presented those again. And then we went ahead and hung them up on the wall, and we gave everyone dots so they could vote on the vision statement they thought was the best. And we also put all those ideas on the wall that they had come up with in the first round, and we gave them dots for those too so they could kind of identify what ideas or issues they thought were the most pressing for Goodyear. And so one of the attachments with this report tonight was our huge list of ideas and comments we've received so far. So that's been given to the General Plan Committee, and that's something we're just kind of building right now too. And we're just, as we start going through the chapters, then we can start figuring out how to work these ideas into the chapters. And we did have a little thank you gift, which you each have a little mug, which is what we gave to thank the residents for spending their entire day with us. And just to summarize all these ideas, we have seen some kind of emerging themes coming from the ideas. We've seen a lot of comments on light rail and bus. We've seen a lot of comments on parks, mostly we want even more. We love what we have, give us more. We've seen a lot of comments on community pools, they want more. a lot of comments on arts and cultural facilities, Performing Arts Center, and also just entertainment in general. They don't want to leave Goodyear for shopping and entertainment. They love Goodyear. They want to stay right here, so they want to see even more opportunities. And then, of course, not a surprise, a lot of comments about jobs. We've especially seen comments with jobs relating to leveraging the airport and also our natural resources like Bullard Wash and some of the things that Scottsdale's done with their mountain preserve and trying to look into some of those ideas. So then we took all this information back to the General Plan Committee, and the General Plan Committee read through the ideas and got copies of those 7 vision statements, and then they worked to boil those 7 vision statements down to one vision statement, which is here. I'm not going to read it to you. It's up there. You all received a copy for it, and it's on our website. And, you know, it's a typical vision statement. It starts to get long and listy, but this is going to help them, guide them as they go through the general plan creation process. It might get revised as we go through, too, but it's just really helpful to kind of set where we're trying to go as we create this plan. And it'll also help in the, you know, we're going to give a copy to the Parks Committee and the Transportation Committee, so that subcommittee, so that they can use it for their master planning efforts as well. And so tomorrow's meeting, we're going to be talking about the land use plan with the General Plan Committee. And then at their February meeting, we're going to be talking about transportation and parks. And then our next big upcoming meetings are in the last week of February. We're going to be holding 3 open house meetings in the different areas of the city to make it really convenient for residents to come. One meeting here at the court building. We're going to have one in the northern part of the city at Western Sky Middle School, and then one at Estrella Star Point Residence Club. And that's going to be I really hope to see a lot of residents come out, because we're going to have a lot of information out. So if someone just wants to come and get information, they can just spend 10, 15 minutes going through and gathering information and leaving those 1 or 2 specific comments they might have. Or if they really want to get involved, we're going to have people sitting waiting to have discussions with them and take their comments if they want. What's not on here, we are planning a community meeting in Mobile too. We just haven't set the date, and we're coordinating that. So we are going to go down there and work with that community as well.
On that note, excuse me.
Go ahead, Gwen.
On that note, it's been a while since we've actually had a council meeting down there. So I wonder if there's a way we could coordinate all of that together. Okay.
Do we want to address that real quick, because we've discussed that?
We're
Yeah.
absolutely looking at that in terms of looking at dates and availabilities, but absolutely it is time to get back down there for a council meeting.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
For the one for the Estrella, are we going to put that in? Because we have a new magazine up there, just to let you know. It's still the developer doing it, but it's a different magazine up there. To get residents up there, can we make sure that those are posted so we get as many people as possible?
Yes, Phil.
That leads into the, are we just going to be advertising in the paper? Are we not going to advertise in the paper, but only, how are we going to get this word out?
There is going to be a page article about it in this month's In Focus. I am trying to get postcards that actually go to every resident. The post office has a new program where you get them printed and they deliver them for a very, very reasonable price. And so we're going to try and do those postcards, and that'll let people know about the meetings and also, hey, these projects are going on in general too. And then we are going to do the typical advertising using social media as we can to notice, but I'm always looking for ideas to get the word out. I'm also really relying on my general plan committee to, go to HOA meetings with a stack of flyers, go to, PTO meetings, all those things, and help me get the word out about that stuff. That's kind of part of their job as committee members.
Yes, Tori.
Maybe our neighborhood services could get it out to all the HOAs as posted that way too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Bill.
It's interesting. If we're sending stuff out via the HOA, at least in my neighborhood, I'm not getting a single thing. So I'm assuming that my HOA is very typical of probably 90% of the city. While I agree we need to do everything we can, I think that there's probably we've just got to make sure we get it out. And it goes to a second question that I would have regarding we're getting feedback from people. Are we getting any demographic statistic on who's coming to these meetings and who's making the comments? Because it would be very easy for people to overwhelm the committee, but still only represent a very small minority of the city that actually wants or needs something. Are you guys tracking that in any way?
So far, we haven't really. I mean, the two big events we had, I mean, Gain was mostly families, and who's going to give up a Saturday, it was mostly our retired residents who were willing to come and spend an entire day with us, so just looking around, but we will definitely look into see if there's better ways to maybe track. I'm hoping with having the meetings in the different geographic areas, that might give us an idea of that. But yeah, that's a good thought.
All done? Did you have another question?
I'm actually done.
Sorry, I shouldn't use it that term.
No,
By golly, it's enough talking, Bill, huh? No, just kidding. Yeah. I was looking at Joanne because I heard a little,
no,
I heard
I was giggling about Bill's HOA comment. And the reason I said that is because that was a way of social media again. If some HOAs, and it's terrible, I don't even get my own HOA emails, but some do get out there and do them. And I just figured, hey, that doesn't cost us anything. the message goes out.
Well, I guess you should all get on your Twitter messages. Get
Well,
it
yes,
out.
I'll
Everybody
like
here,
tweet, yeah.
just get on your Twitters and twit it out,
Tweet away.
okay?
Tweet away.
I believe we're supposed to say tweet away instead of twit, but
I
that's
said
all right.
tweet. Tweet away.
I'll use my word, you use yours. Okay, go ahead.
Georgia, you're not.
That actually concludes my presentation. I'm done. So I guess the only other thing I'd note is we do have in the works, we've been working with Romina's team to get a more interactive website going where people can go on and provide comments
That's what we
online
need.
in a really
Yeah.
user-friendly way. And so we're really excited about that and hope to have that to roll out to you shortly.
And
But
then that takes in those people that maybe not attend a meeting and
yeah.
a little harder time.
Can I ask her one quick
You
question?
can ask a question.
Have you seen the Phoenix website?
Yes, My Plan Phoenix?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the thought.
That's
It's
what
wonderful.
we're hoping.
I want to go on it myself and comment, but I don't live in Phoenix. It's so simple and so easy.
That we're actually contracting
My
with the
Plan
same
Phoenix.
company.
Yeah.
Great. I'll have to
Yeah.
check that out.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Great.
Yes, good.
You're
I'm
doing
glad
a
you like
wonderful
it.
job, Katie. Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
So yeah, if anyone, I mean, I'm always looking for ideas to get the word out. Anyone has any comments on the visioning or anything, I'm happy to take those.
Can you send us all just like a little flyer that we can repost it on our personal, like an official
Yeah,
thing?
that would be good.
Because I
We put them on all our websites.
put it on our websites
Yeah.
and I did it for the dog, and then it gets reposted by somebody else and it actually gets out there. So, but I just wouldn't know what to post otherwise if you don't send it to me. Like,
Okay. No.
An attention grabber. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. That's good. Good idea.
Sure.
Yes, Joe.
Yeah, Katie, and if you could do it in kind of bullet points, short snippets, because we've got other ways of getting the message out there where it'll grab their attention and they'll read it instead of some long, drawn out, you know what I mean? So that'd be great.
Okay, great.
Is that it? Thank you very much, Katie.
you.
We're looking forward to future reports. We appreciate it. Okay, item B then is to review and provide direction on the 2013 state and federal legislative agenda. Romina Kashmin. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Romina. It's only been 5 years. Then I know. Well, what do you expect? Kanisho? Kanisho? Am I
She goes
close?
by Hey You.
I go by you. I go by Romina.
Sometimes.
And of course, everybody knows she's our intergovernmental program manager. Romina, you've got
Good
the
evening,
floor.
Mayor and Council. Thank you. It's Canonisho, just in case.
Canonisho. You know, I'll remember it for a while. Canonisho.
Can your knee show? There you go.
All right, so
That's it.
You can see this as our first meeting.
I'm
We'll
so
probably
glad
get.
everyone's so
I
excited coming back.
I can see now the critique from some residents, but
You can twit that.
we can. I'll twit the tweeter. So
I usually just dive into the legislative agenda because it's very similar to previous years, but the mayor graciously reminded me that we have a new council member that probably doesn't know how we even get to this point, and so I should probably just step back a little bit and explain from the summertime on out and how we get to here
Yeah.
before.
Thank you.
So that's not going to be on there because I forgot. I'm sorry. So usually what happens, just for review for everybody, is the league has their conference in August. It's during our break. And during that process, about 2 months before that, they do a call to cities for legislative items that they see that are going to be coming forward over the next session. And that's called the resolutions process. And the resolutions process is really just that. Cities put in different items that they feel they want to get discussed. And at the league conference, the mayors of all 91 cities and towns go through a resolutions committee. And they discuss those resolutions on behalf of all 91 cities and towns. And then they end up voting during the league conference, and it's an open meeting. And so what happened was, for instance, this year we got an email saying, here are the resolutions being brought forward. This is the date of the meeting. You're all welcome to come. The mayors discuss them and vote, but it's an open meeting process, so you can kind of decide where the direction of the cities are going to go as the League of Arizona Cities and Towns. Then they print out what is their municipal policy statement. So that's what this is. That's why you got this in your mailbox. And you can see through the core principles, what you've got is kind of the same thing that we've got in ours, and I'll go through that really simply. You've got really basic core principles, and they're meant to be very general so that cities and towns are able to maneuver throughout the legislative session based on what their specific needs are. And that's kind of how we handle it. As far as how cities do it by city, every city's different on how they handle their legislative agendas, but what we like to do is kind of coordinate what those core principles are going to be so that not one of us is going in a different direction. And so you'll see a lot of the legislative city agendas are going to be very similar to what you've got here. What happens in the legislative process varies by city. Okay. And so please stop me if you have any questions, and that's kind of a review for everybody else too, if you have any questions on how this is going to go. But this is really quick.
I have a question. I'll just interject right now. So as a council, we make a decision to go a certain direction, and as a league, we do. So one council person disagrees and has their own agenda. So if they happen to go, as we say, up the hill to talk, and they present their feelings, if they present them on behalf of a person as a council person or a council, or is at that point the language should be, I'm representing myself as a citizen. I'm always, that's...
It's a very touchy area. There are council members, and, we can say this every year because Phoenix always has council members that go represent kind of what their views are. And this is something that we can talk about. What normally happens is, let's say a council member goes to a committee hearing and they are opposing something that their own city has supported. The council member is very free to speak their will. What normally happens is the intergov will stand up immediately after they testify and say that is not the position of the city of Phoenix, that is the position of that individual council member. While we respect every council member's view to do that, that is not how my council and my mayor feel. This is the official position of the city. Okay. And so it just has to be one of those things that we monitor as intergovs. And we'll have to report back to the council that that's happened. And then the council can deal with it as they feel moving forward. But there's not anything stopping any one member from going down and representing their personal views. It just makes it difficult because then we have to clarify to the committee at the legislature that that is not the view of the city of Goodyear. The view of the city of Goodyear is as follows. And I represent that view because that's what my council's voted. This individual council member is representing their own view on this issue. And then it works out fine.
Thank you. Joanne?
Question on that note. Okay, so for example, I understand what you just said. For example, the digital billboards. Okay, that was something as a city that we had talked about. Personally, you knew I wasn't in favor of it. Right. But if there's something that you have about 6 items on here, say that one of the items that were as a council member goes and voices that we've never discussed as a council, then how do you go about that? Because that kind of goes by what you're also asking too. I mean,
well,
something totally off.
If there's a bill that doesn't fall under the current guidelines that are going to be adopted by the council, so let's say there's something that the city's never taken a position on. A good thing is in the area of education. Right. We don't really take positions on issues in the area of education. The only time we do is if it impacts our financial outlook, if it comes out of our shared revenue, if we have to start paying for it. And that's covered under our fiscal responsibility guideline. Nothing comes before our shared revenue. So let's just say there's an issue that, and I use education because I know you're passionate about it, and that's a good one for you. So if you go down there and you want to participate, if we don't have a position on it, we don't have a position on it. You're able to represent that. I would still have to stand up and say the city of Goodyear doesn't have a position on this particular issue. If we're on opposite ends, at the end of the day, I have to clarify where the city stands on that if it's differing from the council member's position. If you've never taken a position on it, then I could bring it back to council and I could say, we don't have a specific position on this actual bill, although it does fall under our guiding principles, but this particular bill, an example of that would have been the solar one that we did a couple years ago. We had an actual position on that incentive. If you remember, I came back and said, we've got this economic development bill. This is something that our economic development team really believes we should get. I brought it back to council. We had an official position on that actual bill. So we can do that as they arise. If there's something that comes up and you want to take an official position on it, then we can do that as they arise throughout the session. There's nothing that precludes us from doing that.
Yes. Molly?
As you know, I sit on the Area Agency on Aging, and I'm on their legislative board,
Yep.
and I will be testifying on their behalf, but I will not be testifying as a council member from Goodyear, nor will I identify myself as a
Absolutely.
council member.
And that is absolutely, yeah.
I have agreed to do this for them, so.
No, I mean, that's
We normally
fine.
don't take positions on aging issues and budgetary issues for Meals on Wheels and that sort of thing, so I'm really not out of line.
No.
Am I not?
That's fine.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's usually one of those, like, it's
that's
one
the
of
only
those
thing I
areas
do.
that's separate from city operations. It doesn't impact how we operate or anything that we do. So.
Sherry?
I have a question. Just so I know, it's like herding cats sometimes with us. Every once in a while from the league, we'll get these email alerts. Please notify something there. And usually we hear from you that this is something you want us to write or not. Can you, so Jen knows what those are when she gets those too, if you could explain that.
Yes, I will. So what happens normally, and I'll go through this, it'll kind of cover it, but what happens normally is the League of Cities and Towns will send an all alert to all cities and towns. They do that on behalf of all cities and towns. Now, not all of us are impacted, so we don't necessarily have to say anything, or we do. And the way we play it is, we had 3 legislators the last time around. Those 3 legislators were not necessarily very city friendly, and so it wasn't really something, even if we wrote to them, they would actually listen. And so what I'll usually do is say to council, I've already talked to them, this is how they feel about it, don't worry about it. Taking kind of my lead on it is the easiest way to do it, only because most of the time I've already had conversations with them and I already know where they are. A lot of times they do need to hear from you, because it's like I can get them right to the edge, but I can't get them over, and I'll send something out that says, hey guys, can you call them, or Mayor, can you make a phone call? You know, we really need their input, or we need them to vote our way, and I just can't get them there. So usually that's kind of but you'll get the alerts because you'll see what the league is asking for other cities to do. So really, just call me if you have any questions, or you go, what do I do here? Just call and I'll guide you.
Okay.
Okay.
Joe?
Just a comment. I think as you start getting into the session, and we sometimes get some interesting challenges, I understand that, is an executive summary, for Jen, routinely, is it once a week, once every couple of weeks, at the end of the week, you kind of give us an update, high level,
Yeah,
bills
so-
that impact the city,
Yep.
where it's at in the process, and things to keep your eyes on them. So that,
And we're going to
That- yeah,
continue that same
yeah.
exact process. We'll put them in your council packets. Now that you have council packets every Friday, that's the easiest way. We'll include what's going on, what bills are happening, what the gossip is. I even include gossip sometimes in there for you guys, that type of stuff. So we'll keep doing that
okay.
throughout the process.
And that'll be helpful to kind of.
Yes, Joanne?
Should we, there's about 5 issues that I'm concerned about and would like to watch for. Is it possible to send you those 5 items, and so if you see that come about?
Yes, what
You'll
we
let
have
us
is
know.
we've got actually a legislative tracking program.
Okay.
And we did it with Councilmember Campbell. Last year, we set up a tracking list. And so we can just set up a tracking list that says, Councilmember Osborne's bills. And what'll happen is I'll get a weekly update, and I can just forward it to you. And you can get your own generated report on those bills. So you don't even have to check in or whatever. I'll have Matt, as a part of the council packet that you get, send you the generated report every single week on those bills.
All right.
And you can kind of see where they are in the process.
Thank you.
Right. right. All right.
Good. Thank you
So-
for answering all those
Sure.
questions.
Hey,
So-
Siri.
which most of the stuff now is going to be answered, so you guys beat me to it.
That's right. A good review.
The legislative process. So here's what we do here is council reviews and approves the legislative agenda, and that's what you've got in front of you today. You'll be voting on it probably next week, if not the week out. Whenever the next business meeting is, it'll be on the for you to approve that and adopt it. Staff, what happens during the process is staff reviews every single bill. So there's about 1,100 bills that are dropped in the process. I review every single bill. And I assign it according to issue area. And so that's what I use in that legislative tracking program. I assign it to departments based on that issue area. And I coordinate with department directors and managers on what those impacts could possibly be to the city. Recommended positions then come forward. I would have to say 80 to 90% of the bills every year are repeats. And so we've taken positions on them before. They may have a tweak here and there that's a little bit different. Most of the stuff we've seen over and over again. I don't need to come back, and get direction. I can just see what we did last year and why we did that. And then intergovs meet every Friday, and we go through pretty much every single bill. There's usually about 500 of them that impact cities and towns. So we go through every single week the bills that are coming up from the next week, and we go through what's going to happen, who's going to testify. We coordinate what cities, what council members need to call who. It's very detailed. It's about a 3-hour every week meeting, and we do that every week on Fridays. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going too fast. Okay. So your guiding principles are in your packets. I don't need to read them, but really they go over fiscal sustainability, preservation of local authority, economic development, military preservation, transportation infrastructure, and then grants. We kind of go through all of those. I would have to say 99% of the bills will fall under one of those categories or another. It's very rare we'll get something that we don't have some sort of guiding principle on. The council communication, so this is always something we can change up every year. We do this every year, and we get input from you on what works and what doesn't work. If there's something in this process that you want more of, if there's something you don't think you need, you just need to let us know throughout the session, and we can tweak it. Nothing is written in stone, so we'll do a weekly summary, like I said. Those action alerts that come from the league, you'll get them, and then you'll probably get a follow-up email from me, or this year I've got John Casella helping out from budget, and so you may be hearing a lot from him in this process. That'll also be, he's going to be the day-to-day guy down there, watching those guys. He volunteered. Email updates from staff, you'll always get those. I even send you articles sometimes of stuff that's being written by the Capital Times, things that will help you get educated. If I know there's an issue that you're really interested in, you just need to let us know. Even if it's outside of the everyday council stuff, you just need to let us know, and we'll make sure that we'll get you updates on it. Standing communications from the manager during council meetings. During your council meetings, there's always an agenda item that's held during the legislative session in case there's some sort of update from the city manager during that. And then council direction as needed by issue. So if there's an issue that comes up that really we're just not comfortable taking a position on because it's fairly new or it may be very serious, have a major impact, we'll bring it back to council for clear direction. And then at the end of the year, we do a legislative wrap-up report. This is something that we're implementing this year. That was the request of council last year when Avondale implemented and a couple other cities have implemented. There is going to be a web page, and we're going to get the word out for our citizens to be able to monitor legislative action. On the web page, we'll have weekly updates on legislative action. We're going to do a call for action. All the league call for actions we'll put on there so that citizens understand what's going on throughout the state. The links to legislative resources, so the links to their legislative staff emails, anybody, their legislators, their phone numbers, all types of information for our citizens to be able to just click and send an email. And then other information as needed. So we're going to be developing this site. This is going to be the first year we're doing it. We'll kind of set it up so it has the basic information on there, but as we realize we need more and more, we'll continue to develop it as we move forward. But we're in the process of that. As soon as it's up and running, I'll send you guys a link to it to your email so that you can see it and click on there, and then give us feedback. If there's something on there that doesn't look right, you want more, filter through it. It's kind of a good test for you to filter through it and see how that works before we launch it. So we'll do that probably sometime this week. So look for that in your emails. And that's it.
Questions?
Yes.
Yes, Molly.
Oh, I'm excited now. I really want to thank you for working on the citizen website, because that, to me, the citizens that I have been involved with want to be active, and they want to know what's going on, and they want to feel a part of the process.
Yes.
And when we need their help on a bill or for a specific issue, what better way for them to be able to participate than doing that?
Agreed.
I wanted to thank you for that. And then I also have a question on SB 1528. I do know that there's going to be some revisions to that bill, and I'm sure that's the bill from the Home Builders
1590,
Association.
yeah, the one that we just implemented.
Yeah, and I would like. I know you're going to be watching it. I know the league's going to be watching it, and what affects us may not affect other cities. So that's an issue that I'm really concerned with. And I want to make sure that when they do offer a bunch of more of amendments to undo some of the stuff they did because they didn't mean to do what they're doing, that we're kept.
It's called unintended consequences.
Oh, thank you. That's it exactly.
What a nice way to say that.
Yeah, that we're in the loop on that.
Absolutely.
Because we may have some suggestions to you to go back to the league to ask them. But
Absolutely.
especially
I already
since-
know you're right. There are some cleanup provisions
yeah.
that are coming down the pipeline. League's gonna be gathering all of those ones that the cities want, because I know Phoenix wants some.
Yeah.
Some of the big cities, they have some cleanup. So those will come back, and we'll discuss those as they come back and say, here's what the bigger cities are asking for in cleanup. And I know that the development community's also got some cleanup language that they're gonna be bringing forward.
Hopefully Sherry will give you some as well.
Yes.
That she feels that might work better for our city, that we could
I'll
send
talk to her
forward.
about it.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Chair.
I just had a question. This is on some federal legislation. While you're here, I was going to email you these, but I heard that VAWA was not reauthorized under the Congress, and I know we've got our Family Advocacy Center. There's a lot in the state. Is there anything we can do? We haven't had our MAG meeting for this month yet, so I don't know if there's anything the cities can do to push the feds to approve that? Or?
I don't know, but I can definitely find out. Christine and I were supposed to meet today on a couple of those things that were not reauthorized. Then we have the U.S. Conference of Mayors that I know this will come up at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. In a couple of weeks, we'll be in D.C., and
We'll
that's
be in
going to be one of
DC.
those issues, because I've seen emails going back and forth about things that were not reauthorized, and that's not the only one. There's some other programs that were not. And so those are going to be a couple of things that we need to look at and see if there's a role for the cities to play on whether that's, something that they're going to be taking up.
Thank you.
No problem.
Good question. Yes, Joe.
I know it's early in the process. I know you have your ears usually to the ground. Is there anything that may be coming down the track, high level, that they may focus on this year at our wonderful state legislature?
I mean,
I guess
the
we're talking
largest thing
shared
right
revenues.
now, yeah, I think the largest thing right now is the transportation. I mean, I'm sorry, the transaction privilege task force yellow sheet that we sent you.
Right, I saw that.
We're not getting great reviews on the overall suggestions that are coming out of that. There's been very mixed. Some people like it, some people don't. A lot of legislators aren't convinced this is the way to go. So I guess for our sake, it's not a slam dunk.
Okay.
But then again, things can change the minute you walk in. So nothing beyond that I have heard that's going to be very large or impactful. I think this is going to be the largest thing that we've got to deal with, and that's the construction sales tax issue.
Okay.
Any other questions? It was a great briefing. Thank you.
Thanks.
I think it clarified a lot of areas, and it's kind of,
Very interesting.
yeah, I can see you're very excited over there, Wally. I think
I
that's
love
your,
to hear Romina lay it out for us.
yeah, I think,
She lays it out
yeah,
so well.
that connects with your past career, so I can see the excitement. So, okay, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to the city manager. I don't think before I do that, does anybody have any information here that I didn't let you talk about, council? Okay. Brian?
Well, thank you, and Happy New Year to each of you as well. A lot of exciting things going on. I have a couple of things. Work is going to kick me if I take us past kickoff for the BCS game.
Very good.
Yeah, so we do have a little bit of time, obviously. Which should be an exciting game tonight. Hopefully it lives up to its billing. Couple of things. One is Litchfield Road closure is in place. You received some updates, and I just wanted to go through a couple of those as much for the public as well. But Litchfield Park is actively constructing the project in the intersection of Litchfield Road just north of the Wigbaum Boulevard. This is an underpass that is being done in conjunction with the Arizona Department of Transportation, who is actually managing the project for Litchfield Park. Goodyear and staff, we've been working closely with them regarding traffic impacts during construction period. It's supposed to be down for about 2 months. So a reminder that that small section of Litchfield Road closed today, but it's a small part that prevents north-south movement on Litchfield Road at that intersection. So some of the things that have been done, ADOT and Litchfield Park, they've continued to manage communications regarding the road closure. They have been coordinating not only with us, but stakeholders, local businesses, Luke Air Force Base, school districts, United States Postal Service, County Sheriff's Office, Liberty Water, City of Avondale, County Department of Transportation, and others. And we just wanted to make sure we control that intersection in terms of the signalization. So our staff was out there today. So engineering staff, they actually reprogrammed the traffic signal. There was, what we had to do is it went to blinking, and we had our police officers out there probably just directing traffic for about 5 minutes. But everything went smoothly, so now it's reprogrammed. We went back out again this afternoon during the busy school time, as well as, like I said, we were there this morning. So it's all going smoothly. We'll continue to monitor it, but there were no issues in terms of that intersection. I can't speak for those individuals that now have to go around that area for the next couple of months, but there are detours that are being set up. The second thing is the Park to Pause rededication celebration. We're excited for that. That's this Saturday, January 12th, and it's at the North Subdivision Neighborhood Alliance is hosting the rededication celebration from 11 to 2 again this Saturday. 11 o'clock they're having a neighborhood meeting. 11:30 we have the Park to Pause rededication ceremony and ribbon cutting. And then 12 to 2 a light lunch and activities for the community. But just some of the points, and again, most of you are aware of this, so probably more for benefit of the public, but the renovations, it really was a true community project, and many of you were actually part of that. So this is to celebrate the reopening of the park, highlight the collaboration that really took place between the neighborhood and the city to make this project work. The improvements are new playground equipment, shade structure, covering the play equipment, new trash cans, benches, light poles, sidewalks, and also ADA ramps in and around the park area. Community garden was also redesigned by our park staff with an irrigation system and a new wrought iron fencing that went around that. Important to point out that the project was grant funded. City staff, we did contribute time, obviously, performing some of the in-house items such as site plan review, irrigation design, installed site excavation. And then it was really the neighborhood residents. They kicked in their fair share by participating in amenity selection planning and, of course, actually helping to build the playground. Teamed up with staff, and it was just, again, a great collaboration. So we're looking forward to a super event this Saturday. So just wanted to pass that along. Lastly, just a couple of things. One is I probably embarrass him by saying this, but probably not. He is wearing a gun today, so I have to be careful. But Chief Geyer celebrates his first year with us 2 days from now. Leadership. We're very, very pleased to have the chief with us.
Here,
And I have my back to him, so tell me what he's doing, please. But again, just a big congratulations to Chief for the work he's done this past year. And two key recruitments I know has been on the minds of council for a long time. We have our public information officers on board now. Both started today.
Yay.
We have Lisa Cutis. Cutis or Cutis? Cutis.
Is she here?
She's not in the audience.
Okay.
But she is working. She will be the police PIO. Comes to us from Glendale, where she was doing public safety for the fire department, and public safety is in her blood. I had a chance to meet with her today, and then also Mike Sakel, who comes to us from the East Valley Tribune. and he's excited. He's an is from Ohio, loves our two teams. I won't tell you which one he loves a little more. That's for him to talk about outside of public meetings, perhaps. But again, it's a big step for us going forward to have these key positions in place.
Is he here?
I believe so.
I
He's
didn't
actually just started
I didn't
GEO
see him.
today.
He was in Neo. It's Geo. It's not Neo.
Yeah,
anymore.
get your
It's
employee
Geo's.
orientation. They'll be in that for a 4-day period, and then we actually had them working thereafter. So stay tuned. But we're excited about that. That's all I have, Mayor and
Great. Does
Council.
anybody else have anything they want to add to the unit? Yes, Joe.
Just one thing I was hoping down the road, and I don't know if you've already have it plugged in, is an overview. We had consolidated community development services, and the reason why we did it, streamline the business process. I'd like to get an update on where we are, feedback from the business community, how they're liking this consolidation effort, and how it's going. So yeah, I think it's been about 7 months now.
Actually, Sherry has been on board with us about 4 months, 3.5 months. Sherry Wakefield Signs, who's a director of community, development services. So it's
Sometime in the near future, it'd be nice to just see where we're going with that and how it's doing. So.
we'd be glad to. There's quite a bit that's gone on, and certainly like to promote what the activities have been. But yes,
Yeah, there's some new processes, I understand, you're
There
looking
are.
at, and I would like council to be briefed on that if they're ready
Right.
at that time. That'd be great.
and including use of technology. We're moving to project docs for the entire team, not just engineering. So a lot more customer friendly, and that is will be in place up and running in about 3-4 months from now. But it's in process. So, but several things. But
That's
yes,
great.
thank you.
Yeah, because I see more of that in the newspaper from other cities. I don't know if they're following us or whatever case, but I see more of that out there where a lot of cities are starting to streamline their processes out there. So
Well, I'm going to be on a panel very quickly in this next week, and I probably will disclose some of that. I got the briefing today, so it is going to make a huge difference in our development service and the service to our
that's great.
citizens.
That's
So,
why we did it. So
Yeah, okay.
thanks.
Great. Anything else?
No.
Well, council, thank you for meeting again. It's been kind of a casual meeting, but that's what work sessions are supposed to be. I thought they were good briefings. So next time we see you around the table will be January 14th. We'll have a work session from 5 to 6 and a regular meeting at 6 p.m. So with that, meeting adjourned.